ladies and gentlemen of the media, the National Executive Committee of the African National Congress is convening its regular NEC meeting from today, Saturday 14th of October, until Monday the 16th of October 2023. Among the issues the NEC meeting will be considering in its discussion for purposes of making resolution towards their implementation are, as a matter of priority, those pertaining to service delivery by municipalities, provincial governments, national government departments, and state-owned enterprises. In this regard, certain employees in various ministries will make presentations on the state of service delivery pertaining their portfolios and how service delivery is being accelerated, where there are established backlogs, particularly in the context of local government. Key among issues of service delivery will be efforts towards ending load shedding, including in this regard the installation of transformers in communities where some of whom have had no electricity for several years in areas such as Soweto due to exploded transformers. These must certainly be linked on how to secure the newly installed transformers against vandalism and the overloading often caused by illegal connections. This whilst noting the recent report by the Statistician General, Mr. Mbalula, indicating the huge progress made over the last 3 decades on electrification, amongst many other impressive delivery records. Therefore, the current challenge being energizing all electrified households. Other issues also key on service delivery will be access to water in various communities around the country, including in areas negatively impacted by non-functional water pumps that were stalled because of load shedding. Combating crime, which undermines the safety of our people, such as through acts of housebreaking, rape, and gender-based violence in general, theft of public infrastructure, cash-in-transit heists, as well as the criminal phenomenon known as zamazamas that undermines safety of communities while stealing the country's mineral wealth, will be amongst issues high on the agenda on steps to speedily combat their continued manifestation. Yet another area key to service delivery will be matters pertaining transportation of passengers and goods by PRASA and Transnet respectively. This is important for the socio-economic welfare of our people and commuters in particular. The speedy refurbishment of the Transnet rail system will help remove trucks from the roads, which damages road infrastructure and adds to traffic jam and accidents. Very importantly, this will help in the efficient transportation of outward and inward bound goods to and from our harbors for export and imports respectively. The National Executive Meeting will also consider reports on the state of readiness of our organizational structures to implement programs geared towards the 2024 national and provincial elections. The NEC meeting is convened as the various national sporting codes are either participating in key tournaments or are preparing for such upcoming international tournaments. The NEC takes this opportunity to wish Amapogopogo well as they continue to make the country proud, having reached the quarterfinals of the Rugby World Cup. The NEC also wishes our cricket players well as they also continue to participate in international competitions. The NEC will also recall the sterling performances by Banyana Banyana in the recent World Cup, the excellent performance by our national netball team, and further note that Bafana Bafana are preparing themselves for AFCON next year. We wish all these sporting codes well in their endeavors. The NEC meeting will consider a report from the Sports, Arts, Culture and Recreation Ministry, headed by Comrade Zizi Kodwa, on developments around the World Anti-Doping Agency, WADA, which has been making headlines to the extent that this will affect the participation of our national team in terms of hosting the national flag. We have urged the Minister and government to work decisively by ensuring that this particular mishap or what is being reported does not happen. And in today's National Executive Committee, having received the report, Zizi, as the Minister, together with our Committee on Arts and Culture, will report on actions that have been made to deal with this particular issue, with a view of sustaining the integrity of our sporting codes amongst the nations of the world against any possibility of drug abuse. Whilst we have complete confidence in our systems, nonetheless, this must be seen to be upright by following on the relevant protocols to ensure transparency and integrity. The NEC meeting will also receive a report on the successful appointment of the ANC Ekurhuleni Regional Task Team as per previous resolution in this regard, following the court ruling directing that national office to appoint the RTT as the previous Regional Executive Committee was disbanded by the same court judgment. The names of the 25 comrades appointed into the Ekurhuleni task team have been inaugurated, and yesterday we had a successful meeting of all our branches in Ekurhuleni. This task team, which will act as a regional executive committee in the absence of such, with full powers, will be convened by Comrade Dr. Kagaza and will be coordinated by Comrade Jongizizwe Dlabati, who is the chief whip of the ANC in a Ekurhuleni Council, supported by experienced comrades in Ekurhuleni, and as well comrades who have taken part in the structures of the organization in that region. And we are delighted that our structures have welcomed the finalization of this matter. And the vacuum is closed and we are ready to go. We have full confidence that these comrades appointed into the Ekurhuleni RTT will fulfill all the constitutional obligations of the Regional Executive Committee and most importantly focus on the imperatives of leading a robust program towards 2024 national and provincial elections. The NEC will expound on the report from the Statistician General as a basis on evaluating progress made on service delivery, whilst awaiting the announcement on the 30-year review report, which we believe will similarly speak to the same facts reported by Statistics South Africa. The National Executive Committee will also consider the unfolding program on the 2019 elections manifesto review report back as part of accounting on the popular electoral mandate bestowed on the ANC, as well as consolidating our responses to service delivery throughout the country. All these reports will give us the marching orders as the ANC, as we embark on responding to service delivery issues as per the 6 government priorities and the 10-point plan, as we conclude the popular mandate of the 6th government administration and the milestone of the 30th anniversary of the 1994 democratic breakthrough that installed Nelson Mandela as the inaugural president of a free and democratic South Africa. And in this regard, our contention is that the proof of the ANC record is self-evident on the comprehensive socio-economic transformation, either yet to effected to change the lives of our people, whilst at the same time acknowledging the development backlogs that require our rapid response, the details of which is to be elaborated in the next installment of our election manifesto. We will continue to brief the media, particularly at the end of the NEC meeting, on the discussions, resolutions, and consequent programs of implementation as adopted in this regard. And we will also brief the media in terms of what the National Executive Committee, from the point of view of details of the issues I've outlined, will be dealing with and how. We are at the stage where, as the National Executive Committee, we are monitoring the implementation. And last but not least, we will deal with the fiscal situation that has been reported in our country. And we'll receive a report also from ETC as well as the Minister of Finance. Not discussing the detail, but briefing the NEC on the fiscal situation of South Africa, so that there is certainty about the way forward. We will also discuss the cost of living and how to mitigate, and what government is doing to mitigate with all partners in relation to the cost of living in the country. So it's a jam-packed meeting of the NEC. Of course, in progress now is a political overview of the president, looking at the balance of forces, but at the same time looking at the global situation. As you will have seen, our moment of solidarity as we start this National Executive Committee with Palestine, but also calling for peace in the Middle East, and calling on the world to work through the United Nations not to abandon the efforts of realization of the two-state solution between the people of Israel and Palestine. So thank you very much. And one wish to pause there in terms of outlining the purpose of the meeting of the National Executive Committee. Over to you, spokesperson.
Thank you very much, SG. With that, I'm going to quickly move to identify colleagues who wish to fire some questions. I've got a hand. Is that a hand? It's going this way. It's going horizontally. So I'll start with the one that's vertical. SABC?
Okay, it's Natasha Three here from SABC News. Secretary General, you touched on it briefly, that the NEC will be discussing efforts to end load shedding. What strides have you made? Because remember, during the manifesto review launch on the Saturday, when the President was actually addressing academia and editors, he had said that come 2024, he is certain that load shedding would be a thing of the past. Furthermore, you heard the comments there of former ANC President Thabo Mbeki lamenting the ANC for the failure to renew itself. Will you be discussing this issue? And also the deadline for the ANC list process is looming. I think tomorrow's the 15th, right? Tomorrow's the deadline. How far are you seeing that the ANC had actually extended that process? Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, SABC. Yes, NCA?
Thank you. Some of them have been covered by my colleague, but maybe just on service deliveries, the water situation that we see, SG, there are also allegations around corruption that's done deliberately in order to get tenders. Is it something that you're hearing of as the ANC, where these service providers are deliberately damaging infrastructure in order to continue getting these water tankers? And just to add on to Natasha around President Mbeki, are you engaging him? Because he continuously makes these utterances around the renewal of the ANC. He said it in Unisa, he said it again just 2 days ago. We've heard from you, but are you talking to the former president to try and find out maybe where the issues are?
Thank you very much. I'm going to take one last hand, if there is any, this side, before I come to this side. Do we have anyone this side? No, we don't. All right. Lizetta, is it your hand up, or it's your colleague?
Okay, I'm there with the SABC. Maybe just question is just a challenge to what colleagues have asked about the former President Mbeki's utterances. Secretary General, what would you say to those who are saying, in fact, since the adoption of the resolution on renewal, this renewal has been seen by many as an attempt to deal with those who are seen not to be, or who are seen in fact to be against the current administration of President Ramaphosa, as opposed to really dealing with what is perceived as graft or perceived as malfeasance from all sections of the ANC, or all factions, if there is any faction, as we would rebut that there is a faction in the ANC. Is this a renewal? Really something that is meant to deal with everyone, not looking at whether